Hello my loves. It will come as a surprise to nobody that I am in the mood to complain. No, do you know what? I'm actually not even in the mood to complain today. I'm actually in a really good mood, but I am feeling chatty. And low-key, I have a lot to do today, but I'd also plan to film 2 videos, so we're biting 2 fangs with one neck and filming this while I do my makeup to film and do other stuff. I have been sat here editing this for an hour and a half. I'm on my final watch through of it, and I only just realised that I said 2 fangs with one neck. Obviously I meant 2 necks with 1 fang. So you may remember a while ago I did a video where I talked about my biggest book, icks, and if you haven't seen that, you should totally go watch it. While all of those things definitely still stand, I have encountered new and even more specific icks along the way, because I think I did film that quite a long time ago now. You know, there's always gonna be new little annoyances, little that come up. But because I'm feeling chatty, we're just gonna have a little talk about some icks that I've been amassing over the past few months, and then you in the comments are gonna tell me the things that have annoyed you about books recently, and then we can all be kind of annoyed together but also get it all off our chest and, you know, just then go into the day feeling much better. Also, I feel like I'm good at multitasking, and then I actually go to multitask and I realize I'm really shit at it, so this might actually not go very well, but we'll see. Ick numero the first. Any book with the word puck in the title. It's quite annoying actually, because I would like to try some sports romance, even though I am the least athletic person on the face of the earth, but so many of them have some like play on word with the word puck, and I just hate it. Like, you know how some people feel about the word moist? That is how I feel about the word puck. I couldn't even really tell you why. It just sounds dirty to me for some reason. I really don't like it, and I think maybe partly that might be because hockey isn't really like a huge thing in the UK. I mean, it is a thing, people play it, but like in terms of like televised sport or sport that people watch, hockey's not really huge, and so I don't associate the word puck with like a sports puck. I don't really know what I associate it with. No, I do know what I associate it with. It's supposed to be a play on the word fuck, I assume. But to me, the word puck just is linked to a puckered asshole, and I don't really want to think about that. That just is gross, and I don't like it. If we could come up with some other silly little names to call our hockey romance books, I would really appreciate that, because then I might be more likely to actually read them. The next 2 are both phrases that I feel like part of the reason that I dislike them purely because of the fact that I'm autistic and therefore sometimes take things very literally. So just take that with a grain of salt. The first is the phrase butter me up. It also just makes me feel a bit gross for some reason, and I don't really know why. It just sounds kind of skeevy and I don't like it. Like, no, I'm not trying to butter you up. Please get away from me, actually. While for the most part the way I think is very much in words, my brain is sometimes very, very visual and will just conjure these very, very vivid images for certain things, and this phrase is one of them. It's very, very vivid in my mind, and all it conjures up is someone glistening with buttery oil in a way that is deeply unpleasant and actually makes me want to throw up a little bit. And like, look, this is coming from someone who loves butter. My main motto in life when cooking is, if you think you've added enough butter, you haven't, add more. But not when it comes to people, you know? Keep the butter in the kitchen where it belongs and out of my books, please. Why did I use this? I hate this concealer. And then the other one that perhaps I'm just taking too literally is literally any character waggling their eyebrows. And again, I feel like this comes from my brain sometimes being very vivid in the way it imagines things sometimes, but it's like, you know when like you're falling asleep and you're imagining a wildly unrealistic scenario that's literally never gonna happen to you, and suddenly everything is really exaggerated. The other people are suddenly 10 foot tall while you're the size of a small house cat. That is just how my mind imagines things sometimes, is very, very exaggerated. And I know that's not necessarily the author's fault, that's not what they mean. It is just the way my brain works. But this phrase in particular, someone waggling their eyebrows, is one that always is very exaggerated in my mind, and therefore I feel like it just kind of ruins the moment or whatever I was reading, because the way I imagine it is like, You know, like in SpongeBob where his like eyebrows all become one eyebrow and they're just like kind of going like this? I don't know how else to explain. Thinking about it, I don't actually know what it means to wiggle one's eyebrows. What does that mean? Can someone explain or like tag me in a video of someone waggling their eyebrows? Because I actually don't know. And the next phrase, I don't think my issue with this is that I'm taking it too literally. The issue I have with this phrase is what I think is the same issue that a lot of people have with the phrase like, I let out a breath I didn't even know I was holding, which is that it's very overused. And that is, and then all hell breaks loose. It's obviously meant to show like, oh shit, big shit's happening, chaos, upheaval, shit is hitting the fan. My issue with it is, it's always right at the end of the chapter. It's there to obviously make you want to read the next chapter and find out what's happening. However, because it's so overused now, it just loses all impact. And the response it actually gets from me instead is just like a deep sigh and an eye roll. Like, can we just find a different phrase, please? Oh my god, why? I literally look like a ghost. The lighting is terrible today. Very cloudy, very rainy. So apologies for looking so ghostly. The next one is a very broad one. It is just the present tense. I'm sorry, I know there's no right or wrong tense. Technically, I suppose there's no right or wrong way to write. As in, no, there kind of is. I understand tense and all of that is just a personal preference, and I personally do not like the present tense. Right, my eye makeup might be about to go seriously wrong because I really drastically decluttered my makeup recently, and for some reason I was like, I never wear eyeshadow, why do I have all of these palettes? I'm gonna throw all of them out. I'm going to use my eyeliner and hope it blends out the way I want it to. God, this is feeling very 2010 when I used to just cover my eyelid in black liquid liner. No, it wasn't liquid liner, gel liner, and barely blend it out. God, that was a makeup look. Just go with it, just bear with it. The past tense, in my opinion, just has a better vibe, okay? The way I feel about it is like, you know that TikTok sound that's like, my life is the crown and I will not trade one prison for another. I'm sorry that I looked at Mrs. Riley and lightly grazed her left tit. It's how I feel about the past and present tense. When I blend this out under my eye, it goes kind of red. It's not doing that on my lid, which is really quite annoying actually. I feel like the present tense has a tendency to sound really basic, or has more opportunity to sound really basic. There's nothing wrong with basic writing. I don't want every other word to be poetry and really over the top, because actually that gets annoying after a while and it just feels like it's trying to do too much and not really saying a whole lot of anything. So I am fine with some basic writing. Again, it's just about vibe. The past tense, it just feels better, even when it is just saying like, she walked across the room. It's like, I walk across the room. No, I don't like it. It's just the flow of it. I think it just flows better. And look, I'm not saying this about every book that's written in the present tense, because some of them are really good, some of them are fine. All I will say is a lot of books that I find myself not liking, like the writing of, or feeling like it's quite basic or jarring or whatever, they're usually present tense. Yeah, I just had to finish my makeup off camera because I really needed to concentrate on my eyes, and obviously you can't talk while putting lipstick on. I do have one final ick, and this is specifically targeted towards classics, and that is over-the-top emotions. Because like, tell me why I'm sitting here reading what seems to be quite a normal conversation where two characters are having a reasonable discussion, and then all of a sudden one of them is so overcome with irritation and anger and ire that they are spitting in the other one's face while talking. Like, I'm looking at you, Dostoevsky. Admittedly, it is quite funny when this happens. Oh wow, we're very curly today. I really need to trim my bangs, because tell me what the fuck is going on here. They're too long. They are too long at the moment. We'll sort that out in a minute. It is quite funny, and it is one of the reasons that I enjoy classics, is just being able to see the differences in society and culture since the time it was written, and what would have been shocking then or what would have been normal then is obviously very different now. And a lot of the time that then ends up coming across as just quite silly and ludicrous. While I do find it funny, it is also just like, seriously, like, why are we fainting every 2 seconds? Why does one tiny little bit of stress cause you to be bedridden for months and in a state of delirium? Like, are you guys okay? My fringe is too long. I'm gonna have to figure out something to do with my hair because I don't really know what's happened to it. I've been loving the half up, half down recently, to be fair. I've been doing it a lot. A little half up, half down. What is the shape of my head? Now I just look like I have a bump on my head. Styling hair is the bane of my fucking life. That is all my icks. That is everything I wanted to get off my chest. So thank you for sitting with me and just hanging out and chatting and keeping me company. I'm sure literally no one cares, but if anyone wants to know anything that I used on my face, feel free to ask. It's all very cheap because I am poor. Let me know if any of these things bother you, or as I said, any of your other icks when reading. I would absolutely love to hear them. That is all from me today though, so I hope wherever you are, you're having a wonderful day, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.